my name is Ladies Ferran and I am a psychology student from Florida International University. And in this video reflection, I will discuss the major challenge and controversies involved in the diagnosis and assessing mental disorders in children and adolescents using chapter 1, 2, and 3 of Child Psychopathology by Wolfe and Nguyen Williams, along with supporting material from Dante Cicchetti, work on developmental psychology and the DSM-5 tier. I will reflect on ethical, developmental, cultural, and contextual issues that make childhood diagnosis complex. One of the biggest issues in Chapter 1 is the ethical concern of diagnosing children too early. While diagnosing can help children receive support and services, it can also lead to labeling, stigma, and long-term effects on how a child is viewed by others and by themselves. Bach and Wolfe explain that children's symptoms are often less stable than adults' symptoms, meaning they can change over time. This makes the diagnosis more uncertain. The DSM-5 tier also acknowledge this by early that diagnosis should be based on patterns and behavior across time and settings, not on isolated behaviors. This highlights the importance of careful assessment and ongoing reevaluation rather than quick labeling. Chapter 2 focuses on the developmental psychology perspective, which is especially important when working in children. Children's emotions, behaviors, and thinking skills are still developing, so what looks like a disorder at one age may be developmental normal at another. For example, impulsivity or strong emotional reactions are common in younger children. Much Wolfe stress that clinicians must always ask whether a behavior is unexpected for the children's developmental stage, not just whether the behavior exists. Cicchetti research supports this idea by showing that early risk does not automatically lead to a later psychopathology, and that development is shaped by both risk and protective factor over time. Chapter 2 focuses on the developmental psychology perspective, which is especially important when working in children. Children's emotions, behaviors, and thinking skills are still developing, so what looks like a disorder at one age may be developmental normal at another. For example, impulsivity or strong emotional reactions are common in younger children. Much Wolfe stress that clinicians must always ask whether a behavior is unexpected for the children's developmental stage, not just whether the behavior exists. Cicchetti research supports this idea by showing that early risk does not automatically lead to a later psychopathology, and that development is shaped by both risk and protective factor over time. Chapter 3 highlights how culture and context strongly influence assignment. Children often behave different at home, at the school, and in their communities. Because of this, relying on a single informant or setting can lead on incomplete, inaccurate diagnosis. Cultural background also affects how emotions and behavior are expressed and interpreted. The DSM-5 tier encourages clinicians to consider cultural norms and contextual stressors when diagnosing mental disorders. Both Bach and Wolfe and Cicchetti emphasize that without cultural sensitivity, clinicians risk pathologizing normal behaviors or missing the real source of the child's difficulties. Let's go to consider a fictional example. Anna is a 9-year-old girl who is very quiet and rarely speaks in class. At first glance, this behavior may suggest a social anxiety, depression. However, a board assignment shows that Anna recently moved from another country, is learning a new language, and comes from a cultural background where children are encouraged to be reserved with adults. This example shows why context, cultures, and development must be considered together. Without this information, Anna could easily be misdiagnosed, leading to unnecessary or inappropriate intervention. My personal view about this is that now I see diagnosis as a careful and ongoing process, not a final label. What stood out to me most is the ethical responsibility professionals have to balance early intervention with caution, using developmental, cultural, and contextual understanding help to ensure that diagnosis support children rather than limit their potential. In conclusion, Chapter 1 through 3 of Child Psychopathology, along with the research from Cicchetti and Williams from the DSM-5 tier, show that diagnosis mental disorders in children is complex and ethically sensitive. Thoughtful, developmental, informed, and culturally aware assignment is essential for promoting healthy outcomes for children and adolescents. Thank you for watching.